Remember, in the beginning of this year, I made a video about resistance movements. And I told you to beware of resistance movements because often such movements are distractions. Now, in that video, I spoke about the yellow vest for a brief moment. And about the yellow vest movement, ask yourself, it has been weeks now, almost even months, that they've been protesting. What did it accomplish for the French people? Name one long-term benefit that the yellow vest movement brought to the French people and to the people of Europe in general. Name one of them. I'm waiting. Name one of them. There isn't any. Why? Because the movement was purely aimed at resisting something instead of building something. You need to understand, you have resistance and you have building. When you resist something, it's because there's an outcome you want to protect. When you're building something, it means that you're advancing an outcome you're longing for. Okay, let me explain with this. Let's say now that you have neighbors that invite a lot of friends over and they are blasting their music very loud. Often it's daily. There are some days that those friends aren't there, but overall, the music is very loud. And you become upset, you call the cops on them. Why? You are resisting what they're doing. Why? Because there's an outcome you want to protect. That's you being at ease in your own house. You can't help it that your house is connected to other houses. So you have neighbors. You need to find a way to deal with it. But because the influence of your neighbors is threatening the calms that you want in your house, you are resisting that influence. And the resistance is only a resistance because there's something you're protecting. There is no such thing as resistance without protecting. Every time you resist something, it's because there's something else you're protecting. It's something else you want to preserve. Building would be when your neighbor is, blasting music often. You go to his house and you talk to him about it and you realize that he is into music. And then you think, okay, you're into music. You know what? I have a musical interest too. Let's find the music studio. And what happens now? You and that neighbor and his friends, you work together for a practical solution in which all parties benefit for the long term. That's building. Okay? Look at it carefully. In the first part of the parable, there was only resistance because it was something someone was holding on to. That holding on caused anger, tension, and resentment. And tension and resentment often escalates and people get hurt. In the second part of the parable, that neighbor that felt unease with the influence of the loud music decided, you know what? That music is there. It's a neighbor's house. He's paying the rent, not me, so I can't tell him not to play music in his own house. And he has those friends come along. I can't help that either. But you know what? He's there. I'm here. We both have to live around here. So let's work for something that will benefit us all. So, in this case, the individual looked at the bigger picture and he realized holding on to relaxation in my own house will backfire on me and those around me that won't benefit anyone. Let's overrule the situation and regulate whatever's going on in such a way that it benefits everyone. That is building. Now, about the yellow vest movement. What are they building? What is their vision? The only thing I see happening, I think the yellow vest movement is over now. At least the official organizers are backing down. If I'm wrong, correct me, but as far as I know, as far as I'm informed, the yellow vest movement is going down now because official organizers have stated that they don't want or won't organize any marches anymore. But you have unofficial yellow vests who will continue. Until now, what I've seen is that the Yellow Vest movement only acted out their frustrations against Macron, which is personal, and against some French policies. And in other countries where the Yellow Vest appeared, it was often an acting out of frustration. So is resistance. What are they building? Look, it's important to understand these things. Resistance and building. Okay? Resistance can be legitimate and necessary. But there must be building happening at the same time. Sometimes you don't even have to resist, you just build. Okay? But what I see is that a lot of folks just don't want to build. Because building requires effort. Building requires cooperation. Building requires you acknowledging you're vulnerable and not kidding yourself. Building requires humility. Building requires endurance. It requires patience. And patience isn't tolerating something you don't want. Patience is persevering despite difficulty. Building is not easy. Resisting is easy, especially if it's violent resistance, which is rioting. Rioting is easy. Building isn't. Where are the builders? Look, and when I talk about building, I'm not saying just go out and build anything. Even when you're building, you need to be careful what you're building. For example, if you have a couple and they want to work on their marriage, then you need to ask yourself, do they have the correct expectations concerning male and female relationships? Because if they don't, then they're only advancing a deception that will backfire on themselves. And that happens to a lot of couples. The woman has expectations that the man must put her in the center, and the man has the expectation that he's responsible for her happiness. Those are two dysfunctional thinking patterns that many couples have. So that when they come together, when they spend time together, what they're doing, they are advancing a deception. So what they're quote-unquote building isn't worth building. Why? Because their expectations don't add up with reality. You can't make someone happy all the time. And you can't expect someone to make you the center, because you're not the center. They also have needs, they also have longings, also have interests. So to expect someone to make you the center, that's BS. But if Hollywood teaches you this, and most people they repeat this lie, then it's understandable that you believe this lie, but it's still a lie. Before you build, you need to examine what you're building, and you need to also see the cost of building. Just realize that when you're building in a Christ-centered manner, that's what you're expected to do. There are folks that will not continue with you. Some folks just want to riot or just want to resist. They don't want to build. They don't. They have no interests. There are such people who don't want to build up and say they're not interested. Well, the truth is they have no interest at all in anything. They're mechanically, let me say, they are operating in a mechanical manner, and that's it. They have no real interests. They don't. So it may appear as if they are against you or looking down on you when they show no interest, but the truth is they have no interests. Because they're not building anything. They're only seeking an escape. Look, I'm not saying that it's never proper to go on the streets and to show dissatisfaction collectively. I'm not saying that you should never do that. However, if that's the only thing that's happening, then there's no building going on. It's just a distraction. And there's a danger in this. When there is mass resistance, which often results in rioting, you will have short-term strong coalitions. But those short-term strong coalitions will appear like intense brotherhoods or sisterhoods. So you may think you found friends for life because you share this great thing in common. But once the resistance is over, or once relief sets in, or once some political party or some part of society caves in and there's relief, you will notice that those coalitions, they vanish. They dissolve into thin air. And people you expected to be bros for life or sisters for life, they suddenly treat you like strangers. They suddenly cut you up, or they suddenly turn on you. And in worst case scenarios, they even attack you, which may result in you ending up in a hospital or dying. So those resistance movements can even turn homicidal. I'm telling you. So ask yourself, where are the builders? And even if there are builders, what are they building? Ask yourself that. What are they building? Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.